is happening, fellow fantasy GMs? I am JJ Wang. He is the bearded one, DJ Dub. And with our powers combined, we are the Fantasy Couriers.
Playoffs? It is week one of the playoffs. How are you feeling at this point, JJ Wang?
That's about 50-50 like I was going into last week. I mean, it's pretty much not the same. Won a couple, lost a couple. I mean, not a great. It hasn't been really a great fantasy week, I don't think.
Yeah, tell you what though, we've had a couple of really good games for the 1 o'clock slate today. 3 overtime games. I mean, as far as like pure football, that's pretty nice. And to see the Cowboys lose to the Jaguars is always a win. And we got to see NFL history made on Saturday. So we are the Couriers. We are Fantasy Couriers. We are recording this prior to the Sunday night game. So if anything awesome happens with the Commanders and the Giants or in the Monday night game, we'll talk about that on Thursday as we lead into next week, which, getting way ahead of ourselves, do note that next week's games, all but two, are on Saturday. There's a Thursday night game, but all this game slate is Christmas Eve, and then there's 2 games on Christmas Day.
I forgot about that. Christmas Eve next Sunday.
I really had no clue. That's a little. I was like, oh, the week's coming up. I know who's playing what, and then I was like,
so are they moving the red zone to Saturday?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how I found out. Actually, Siciliano was like, yeah, the red zone's moving to Saturday.
No big deal then.
Yeah, because
even though it would be nice to sit home all day on a Sunday and watch football. I mean, that's kind of conceded on my part, on my part, but the players are like to be home on Christmas too. But I mean, honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. Give me a couple $1 million, I'll miss Christmas every year.
Yeah, I think it's Dolphins and Packers, and then golly, I forget. I just had all the games up, and I forget what the other game is on that day. I'll look at it as we get closer to when we have to worry about all that good stuff. So, but yeah, we are. I'm with you. I'm on the splits this week. Told you before the show, I was excited. My worst team, my rebuild team, is the team that's putting up over 200 yet again. So that means it's a nice rebuild to have 3 of the top 4 picks next year, and have a team that's scoring in the upper echelon of a league going out of this year. So hopefully it carries over, which is kind of exciting.
I mean, yeah, you can't ask for much more when you think a team's bad and it turns out being good. Plus, you got all the picks. So it's going to be a pretty good draft class, too.
Yeah. I'm hoping to figure out a way to get some Bijan on that team. I need running backs.
There's a couple of them.
Got some fun stuff for us this week?
I think so. I'm ready to go.
Let's do it. Oh, yeah, this is my job, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know how to do that.
Booyahs Boohoos. A little slow on the uptick, JJ Wang. I told you I've been down for the count this week. I'll get back.
I mean, it happens to the best of us, man. We're not all of us are machines. We're not Terminators, man. We can't always be great. But some Booyahs and Boohoos here. I'm in the first Booyah. I gotta go with Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings. Down what? I'm not gonna lie. I seen last time I looked at it, I get to watch a lot. I seen it was 33-6 or something crazy like that. I leave home. I come home. They'll start making dinner or something, and then I seen a graphic on the Browns game where the Vikings come back. I was like, "What?" So I had to go double check my on the sleeper app, and I'd be darned if it wasn't right. Cousins ended up with over 400 yards. Jefferson had a big game. We'll get to Osborne a little later, but he had a big game. Mainly it's just Cousins. I mean, this is just one of those Cousins games where it's like it's either or. I mean, it just could be all over the place for this guy.
Yeah, I told you I've been down and out. I've been laying on the couch all week, sick as a dog, and so I got to see it. And I'm sitting there like, oh man, this is terrible. I'm stuck home watching football, and it's like 33-3 or something. I woke upstairs, take a shower or something, come back down. I'm like, huh. So I'm like channel surfing, come back. Holy cow! Oh my goodness! And then I tell my son, I'm like, hey, come check out this field goal. You're going to see history right here. You've seen the biggest comeback in NFL history.
Yeah, it's not something you get to see very very often, but just Colts have just had the disaster of the season. Started off bad, quarterback's bad, and everybody's just playing bad at the moment. The other one, this is kind of a bad one and a good one, but I'm gonna go with the Atlanta Falcons with Booyah to Desmond Ritter and Tyler Algier. Ritter getting his first start in the NFL. I'm gotta give everybody their first props when they get their first start, whether it's bad or good. Doesn't really matter. I mean, how many quarterbacks have started off bad? I mean, it happens all the time. Not everybody goes out here and throws for 350 yards. Then Tyler Algier at 159 yards and some touchdowns. So big game from him. They got some young talent. Just got to hope the quarterback works out.
It'll be interesting to see what they decide this offseason. I guess Desmond Ritter has a couple weeks to have them decide if they're going to aim for one of these bright, young, shiny toys or if they're going to go with him and get some linemen and on either side of the ball. It'll be interesting to see.
I
He
mean,
does
maybe,
like
but I
Drake
mean, I
London.
feel like if you're going to give up on Ritter, if if he just has like an average, barely any, and then you give up on him, I mean, is that's the only shots he gets? I mean, you're only giving him
That's sadly
four
to his
games
benefit.
here on a 4 games here on a bad team. How many if you give up after 4 games on quarterbacks, I mean, there's probably a lot of quarterbacks that we would never even be thinking are any good, right?
Yeah, I mean Josh Rosen, how many did he play? 6 or 7, 8 maybe games
Well, I mean,
as a rookie,
I'm
and then
saying if you
Kyler
give
Murray.
up on somebody after 4 games, I mean, you
Yeah,
could be missing out on something good. I mean, especially
yeah.
when
Oh,
your team isn't good.
but he does look
But
with him though. He does love Drake London, which is going to be nice for a team that I need coming up in the next 2 weeks with
well, I mean,
Madrid.
he's a young guy with a big arm. He'll like any
They work
receiver
together.
that can get open.
Well, he
So
peppered him with targets.
yeah. We got Booyahs. The first one goes Donovan Knight here. Not a good game. 23 total yards, but I'm just going to put this on the Zach Wilson effect. Zach Wilson just makes everybody look bad. Zach Wilson made some bad passes, but not good for Donovan Knight coming off 2 strong games. But I mean, I guess it happens here.
Uh, uh, uh. But
Yeah,
on the bright side, the Jets lost, and the Lions are 500. That just I knew I wasn't going to win the game with Zonovic Knight. I'll give it away. Just to see the Lions at 500 and in playoff contention, that just makes me happy. It's a good Christmas present.
yeah. Got 2 wide receivers. I'm going to go with the Arizona Cardinals wide receivers, DeAndre Hopkins and Marquise Brown. It's going to be rough sledding for him for the rest of the year with what's the guy's name thrown to
Colt
him?
McCoy or
Cole McCoy
Trace.
throwing to him.
Couldn't
They
tell
don't.
him. Trace McSorley.
Yeah, they don't look good right now. That whole team. James Conner may be the only one that remains relevant just because of the running game. It's going to be tough for anybody that's going to rely on those 2 wide receivers because with Kyler, I mean, they're solid.
Yeah, I mean D Hop's gonna probably be PPR. Okay, Hollywood I think will be in the worst shape because D Hop still did get 7 catches, but it still wasn't pretty.
Yeah,
And
it's going
especially
to
if
be rough.
McCoy's out longer, imagine Trace McSorley, the quarterback next week
I mean, there's going to be a lot of retooling on that team.
at the top.
Yeah, it definitely. All right, switching over to that's all I got for that. We'll switch over to the little pleasure and pain. I got two quarterbacks I might not get to talk about very often here. So while I can talk about them, one I might be able to talk about more, and then another one I'll probably never get to talk about. So while he's here, I might as well get him. I'm gonna go with Brock Purdy. Another solid game for the 49ers. He looks good. I mean, I feel like that offense is pretty quarterback protected. I mean, you just got to be okay. I feel like every quarterback that plays decent. But kudos to Brock Purdy. I mean, looking good carrying the 49ers into the playoffs.
I think the rule was this week anybody who played me in the playoffs had to pick up Brock Purdy. I saw him everywhere. I'm like, wow, where did this happen? And then, tag nabbit, Brock Purdy
Yeah,
puts up 20 points or so.
he's looking solid. Definitely got himself a backup gig next year. Maybe even compete for that starting spot. You never know. So other guys, my guy, right? I'm gonna go Davis Mills here. Um, looking better ever since he's coming off the benches. Coming off the bench. I mean, last 2 weeks have been his 2 best games of the season. Had 2 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. Might not get to say this again, but I'm just gonna give a kudos to
Just
Davis
like
Mills
Davis
here.
Mills. He threw for
Huh?
121 yards. You just like to talk about Davis Mills.
I mean,
Hey,
I, put,
Trevor Lawrence had the game of a life today, and you talk
I
about Davis
understand.
Mills.
Okay, but literally, we could sit here and talk about Trevor Lawrence every week. Absolutely, right? We talked about Trevor Lawrence last week. I mean, if you only want to talk about the top 5 players, I mean, we could do that. I mean, if that's how we want to. I mean, if that's how we want to do it. I mean, I'll just talk about Jalen Hurts, and Patrick Mahomes every week. Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Christian McCaffrey, and Derrick Henry every week.
Yeah, I'll take it.
We'll get to know those guys. Get to know those guys real well over the next couple of weeks. Switching over to running backs, there's two running backs here. I just want to get your thoughts on how much you can trust them. The first one's Jerick McKinnon, another big game, 30 points. I'm killing it in that offense right now. And then the other one is David Montgomery. He's got the full workload. I know he's not sexy, but I mean the full workload. The offense is looking better with Justin Fields playing better. And of course, Derrick Henry played well, and Christian McCaffrey also played
Who?
well.
Who? Who are
So
those last two guys? Are those
just in case you wanted to know about those two guys.
Montgomery's that guy you gotta play because of where he falls, and I mean you're going to get rewarded, and it's kind of like the Kyler Murray effect. You know how you watch him and you're like, there's nothing great going on. Wait, hold on, I got 2 touchdowns and 90 yards. Holy cow, he only touched the ball 15 times. This isn't sexy at all. You're right, Jerick McKinnon. At the beginning, I think what happened to him he's looked good the last 2 weeks, but what happened is Pacheco cannot hold on to the ball. So when Pacheco fumbled, you notice he sort of disappeared from that game plan for a good bit, and McKinnon's he's getting some playoff legs. He could be a sneaky little dude to have throughout the playoffs. He usually doesn't get as many carries, but I think they're still getting Pacheco still got 15 carries, but I think a little bit depending on they're going to depend on the veteran as they go into the playoffs.
Well, I mean, like over the last year, he's been heavily involved in the offense.
He got me 30. He carried my team.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to guy he's like most heavily used guy in that offense. So I mean, gotta use him at this moment. You gotta have him at the moment. Like he could be the league winner that everybody talks about every year the way he's going. Switching over to wide receivers, I'm gonna go with Zay Jones here. 3 touchdowns. That wide receiving core looking really really good. Christian Kirk wasn't great. Zay Jones comes through with 3 touchdowns. I mean, are you starting Zay Jones?
I should have
every week, or I mean, are you still scared that he could totally disappear?
I mean, you look. Zay had 6 catches for 109. Kirk had 6 for 92. I thought it was worse than that because he looked terrible today. Like it's the best stat line for a terrible watching him play. Ingram had 8 catches for 62. I mean, he's spreading it out, but he's passing the ball a lot. So I think right now those are the top 2 targets, and until a third guy steps up, I'd play Zay throughout. He's been hot the last little bit, so
yeah, he's been surprisingly good throughout the whole year. Helps with Trevor Lawrence throwing to him. All right, 2 wide receivers here. Tell me which one you would start next week if you had to. We got KJ Osborne, career game, 156 yards, touchdowns. Of course, coming in the big, you had to throw pretty much every play. And then the other one's Noah Brown from the Cowboys. He had the 2 touchdowns. Didn't have a lot of yards. Who would you start between these 2 guys next week?
KJ Osborne. I'm actually starting KJ Osborne next week because of injuries. I was looking at a league or 2. Because that's what I thought KJ Osborne was going to be coming into this season.
I never thought KJ Osborne was going to be this.
Not that big, but he was going to be the Robin to Jefferson's Batman.
But he hasn't really been a Robin this year, has he?
But I think I was a year ahead. So I think this could be what we're going to see going into next year, is where he's going to head into with Thielen aging out. So Thielen still had an okay game, but I think he's going to be the guy that steps into the Thielen role per se, and he'll be a decent wide receiver too next year, and maybe throughout this run because the Vikings have what do they have? Like 9 1-score victories or something to that effect. So
Raiders just scored a touchdown.
Yeah, I've been watching it here on the thing to tie it up.
But
I think to go forward, I think he's in that offense because they're going to have to keep scoring because the defense isn't stopping anybody. So yeah. I think they're going to. Oh, look, a surefire waste of a touchdown just happened too.
Are you going to add that one to your
too many? There's too many
4-hour list we got going on?
Yeah.
All right, switching over to the pain. First, I'm going to go Justin Herbert here. Just not good. Bad game. That offense is looking bad. Yeah, he's hard. He's hard to trust right now.
Terrible. Like I don't have Justin Herbert anywhere, and I got him in our auction league, and I was excited. I was like, "Cool, I'm gonna run some Justin Herbert," and he's been not. He's that. I don't know. He has not made me very happy this year. I won't have Justin Herbert next year.
I mean, yeah, I don't think he's made anybody happy. I mean, he's made
except for Chris Collinsworth. He's in love with him, but he was the greatest.
Well, yeah, but they look at things as NFL. We look at things as his
He,
fantasy.
last week he was great, 350 yards and 1 touchdown. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
But yeah, it's rough for all the Herbert fans out there. I mean, I got him somewhere thinking it'd be better. He's not looking like one of the top four quarterbacks at the moment. And the other one is a guy that we all like to jump on and say bad things about. That's Mac Jones. Not good at the moment. I think he barely has over 100 yards. He might have
111.
110, but going into next year, you can't be have a lot of faith in Mac Jones going forward, right?
I Bill Belichick probably does. I mean, I don't know. I don't want. Luckily I didn't jump on when I said he's better than Trevor Lawrence and get him anywhere and keep my Trevor Lawrence shares. I he's he's what we think he's going to be. He's going to be a game manager and a running offense. So for NFL, he'll probably be around a little while. And he's going to have Ramondre, and then it looks like Pierre Strong might be taking over the Harris role next year, and then they got another Harris coming in. So I mean, they're going to let Damian Harris go, and they got these two rookies that'll step into his role, and then Ramondre looks like he'll be the lead back, and they're going to be a running team and pass when they need to, just enough with a good defense. And that's how I think they're going to be built for a while.
Yeah, he's not looking good. All right, two running backs that we were all that everybody's pretty much disappointed in. Well, Nick Chubb, I think really disappointed over the last couple games, especially since Watson's come back. He thought they would lean on the run a lot more, but he's been bad, not good at all. And then the other one's Jonathan Taylor, just pretty much let you down all year. Have a good game, and I can't even remember the last time he had a good game. But it's just been bad for both those guys, and they could leave a bad taste in your mouth going into next year's draft. You might not want to touch them, right?
I gave away my soul for Jonathan Taylor in the league, like multiple first round picks and dynasty and blah blah blah. And I'm just hoping that this is just a down year. I mean, the rest of my team is killing it, and Jonathan Taylor doesn't play. I so hopefully this is a 1 year fluky thing. I mean, last year he was durable through college, he was durable, and this year he's just been up and down. And hopefully it's a fluky one off, and he's back. Chubb, I didn't realize he almost had 100 yards. I was like, wow. It just seemed yucky because that game was just terrible. And I think he's going to ride the Watson train. Everybody's
Yeah,
like,
that's.
Watson's not ready. And maybe if Watson picks up the slack a little bit, he'll look like he did earlier this year with receptions.
I mean, it's crazy. Watson comes in and they just don't kind of like run the ball. They kind of like shy away from running, but he just doesn't. I feel like he might still get the same amount of carries. It just don't look like the same, obviously, the same offense. I think they rely on the run a little bit more. Guess not.
They're not scoring is the thing. Like he's still getting 100, but he got 99 yards, but there's no
Yeah.
scoring. And when you're not scoring, it's not gonna. I mean, you got the one touchdown.
We got wide receiver here. We're with Stephon Diggs. I mean, it was a snowstorm. Josh Allen was still able to throw 4 touchdowns. I think Diggs only had like 7 points, 8 points. It's a bad game for Diggs. I don't think you really have to worry about it. Diggs will be back, next week. As long as it stops snowing in Buffalo at some point. I feel like it's been snowing in Buffalo for three weeks now.
Didn't start snowing until the end. He just Allen was missing him, and Allen just it was weird. I was watching Dawson Knox, could be one of the most terrible football players I've ever seen catch 98 yards and a touchdown. He just kept throwing at him, and when you throw things at the wall and hope they stick, that was Dawson Knox. He was the wall, and he just kept throwing it, and he would drop it, or he'd miss it, or he was like falling over. He looked terrible, but he still. I mean, if you had Dawson Knox this week, you're a happy man. But Diggs was ticked. He was yelling at the reporters. He was yelling. He was not a happy man. I mean, thank goodness for the Bills that Josh Allen is a machine. He killed
Somebody
it.
just scored a touchdown. I don't know who it was. Oh, Tannehill just scored a touchdown.
Oh, they won it.
No, there was a rookie wide receiver. I'm with Chris Olave. He's had single-digit games last 4 of his last 5. Hasn't started off strong. That offense, of course, hasn't been great. But yeah, he was excited in the beginning. Are we still excited, or?
The potential is. I think you're excited long term. I think this year we got to temper expectations because for some reason the other rookie's playing better. Rashid Shaheed, one of our favorite named players in the league, is playing better, and he's rocking and rolling. Olave's been up and down. He was killing it for a good while, but I mean, so is the life of an Andy Dalton receiver.
Yeah, I guess when you're only throwing for 150 yards a week, it's kind of hard to maintain. All right, I just got one more question for you. It's a tight end question, so I figured you would like this one. So George Kittle had over 20 points, and Juwan Johnson had over 20 points. Who is more likely to score 20 points next week, George Kittle or Juwan Johnson?
Oh gosh, that's such a tough question, Jordan.
That actually is a tough question.
It's Purdy. Purdy's the man. Purdy's gonna just keep feeding Kittle.
Kid.
Juwan Johnson's
Kittle
got
was
the
how did Kittle play
150-yard
last
monster.
week? What is it?
Juwan Johnson's got the 150-yard Andy Dalton monster. So
That's true, but Jawan Johnson really isn't a yardage guy. He doesn't really matter. He's only going to get 30 yards. Just depends on whether or not he can get those 2 touchdowns.
oh no, I'll take Kittle any day of the year.
Well, just know that he's probably going to be a blocker next week. So good luck.
I'll take it. No, I don't. I need him to start twice.
Yeah. You need the 20 points.
Surefire waste of a touchdown.
Okay, here we go. As we roll out, we have a whole pile. I got to jump across. I'm gonna skip a couple here, see what we can get. Let's look at the Indianapolis Colts were killing it. They were rolling. They had a 1-yard touchdown pass from Matt Ryan. Oh, that's right. We did say that Taylor decided not to play, so it must have been Pittman. Now it's a running back. Oh, Deion Johnson, the guy that we probably have on our rosters, but nobody played because we thought Jonathan Taylor would be good. So that definitely makes that a
Surefire waste of a touchdown. Zach Moss was even kind of looking pretty decent yesterday. I was watching him make a couple runs.
He was.
Oh, and Marlon Mack also, since we're talking about the Colts, Marlon Mack also scored. Oh, are you getting to that?
You can say it.
Oh, my bad.
No, I
forgot.
didn't put him in there. Actually, I didn't because I did him last week. I thought you'd get mad.
Oh, that's right. I just wanted to bring up Marlon Mack because I see him score a touchdown earlier. But go ahead about that.
He ran in a touchdown. I was like, oh man, I can't use it twice. Let's stay in that the record-setting game, and on the comeback, we have a 1-yard touchdown run from Dalvin. No. Oh yeah, I love when the fullback scores. CJ, adequately named Ham. That's the best name for a fullback ever. So CJ Ham with the 1-yard touchdown, and I was happy for him. But if I was a fantasy owner, that's a
surefire waste of a touchdown. I still want to call him Darvin every time I see him.
You want him to coach the Lakers?
Yeah, every time I see him, man.
So we're going over to the nightcap. What was supposed to be the snow game got snowy towards the end there, but early in the game we had a 14-yard touchdown pass to the tight end from Josh Allen. Must keep if you throw it. It's not Dawson Knox. It's the guy we thought would be good earlier this year, the rookie Quentin Morris with a 14-yard touchdown run. That is definitely a
surefire waste of a touchdown. We thought that guy was going to be good earlier in the season.
There was a week when he was starting because there was a bunch of injuries. I think it was 5 or 6, and a lot of people threw him in there to like DFS and stuff. And we're gonna go to the other side of the ball. I was gonna throw out Naheem Hines, but I like him too much to throw him in here. Let's go. Miami had an 11-yard running touchdown. They ran their brains. It was good to see. As far as as a fan, it was that loss that stunk, but that loss that made me go, hey, the next couple of years are gonna be fun to watch. But there was an 11-yard touchdown rush.
That's how you seen that game,
dude. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. We could run. I've never seen us run all year. So they're running.
That's
we
cool.
lost by 3 points to the best team in the league. I would take that any day with the team.
All right, you'll take that. You'll take that. Oh, okay. So what you need to worry about is making the playoffs. That's what you need to worry about.
Yeah, we're good. We play 3-week teams. So then we had an 11-yard touchdown run from Raheem Mostert. No, he was killing it though. Nope. Salvan Ahmed finally got some play this year. Gaskin must be dead because they're playing Ahmed, who they don't like over Gaskin. But yeah, that's for sure a
surefire waste of a touchdown. Hey, at least he's still making plays, man. Good kudos for that guy.
He ran. He looks good. I was like,
yeah, he looks all right.
It'll be interesting. They have no running. I think him and Gaskin are actually the only running backs under contract next year. Let's go to that Justin Fields game today. Justin Fields almost pulled off a win against the Eagles. Made them look a little vulnerable, but still couldn't take out the juggernaut known as Philadelphia. 35-yard touchdown pass to. Doesn't really matter. Nobody has a Chicago pass catcher, but Byron Pringle with a 35-yard pass. That's pretty impressive. But yeah, still is a
surefire waste of a touchdown. I mean, this guy's throwing to N'Keal Harry and Byron Pringle.
Yeah. Velus Jones is fumbling the ball. It's
Chase Claypool evidently plays on that team. Evidently,
I think he was out today.
Was he?
He was out, yeah. Here's a double-double. So this is a double-double surefire because you're not starting anybody in this entire situation. The New York Jets had 2 passing touchdowns, a 40-yard passing touchdown and a 1-yard passing touchdown to their tight end, who most of us would go, oh, Tyler Conklin the way he started. No, no, no. A guy we thought might be good, but has been pooed. But this week, C.J. Uzama had 2 passing touchdowns from Zach Wilson. Nobody started Uzama. If you started Zach Wilson, you're probably in the dumpster bowls. That's 4. Sure, 4 for 4.
Surefire waste of a touchdown. Yeah, that whole this just a disaster at the moment.
And let's jump down to we were talking about the Chargers, and we had a 1-yard rushing.
So just Mac Jones just fumbled the ball and the Raiders just ran in for a touchdown.
So they didn't blow it.
I think that's what just I think that just happened. So I'm sorry.
That's awesome. So let's look at those terrible the greatest team in the world, but the most terrible team in the world. Did the Chargers win yet as we're recording this?
They just got a field goal, 17-14. So they might.
That's the last thing I saw. So they had a 1-yard rushing touchdown, so we know it's got to
So
be
hold on. That was a walk-off fumble return for a touchdown.
Yeah, they were in overtime.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I didn't even know that they were in overtime. My bad.
That's
crazy.
Overtime games, man.
Oh, dang.
So back to the surefire.
Sorry.
1-yard touchdown run. I got 2 more. 1-yard touchdown run. Oh, it's not Austin Eckler. It's Joshua Kelly. Wow. Whatever happened to Isaiah Spiller? But yeah, it's a
surefire waste of a touchdown. I mean, Kelly's still more reliable. I mean, Kelly probably not going to bring Kelly back. So Spiller, I mean, who knows? We'll see.
You got a little tread, but let's go with our last one. It's a tight end 3-yard pass from Brett Rippon. So no one started Brett Rippon, and we all thought it'd be Greg Dulcich. Nah, it's Eric Tomlinson, former Jet. Those Broncos, but that's definitely a
surefire waste of a touchdown. Yeah, new receiver every week. Doesn't matter if it's Russell Wilson or not. It's a new receiver scoring touchdowns.
I mean, it was pretty much a pretty cruddy week for touchdowns. I could have done this for another 10 guys, but that's all I'm going to go for now. And give us some wisdom as we wrap up this week and we get ready for Christmas. Our show will come out Thursday of this week for the Christmas show. JJ Wang's kid has some basketball Monday and Wednesday, so we'll be switching around for the week, and then we'll figure out a schedule for the last couple of weeks as we get towards the new year and the off season.
Yeah, you got to watch that play of the last play of the Patriots. There wasn't a Mac Jones fumble, but it was something stupid. But yeah, so what I got here is, of course, I'm not sure how many of y'all were aware of this, but today was the World Cup finals for all of you guys that watch the world's football. Hey, it was a fantastic game, and if you don't like soccer, and I understand, but watch that game, and it was a damn good game. Just World Cup is fantastic. I just want to talk about the world's football before we started. But as always, trust yourself and trust the process.